It still annoys me to no end that this thing doesn't have feet.
Doesn't have
You
what?
guys are live now.
Like,
Are we live now? Okay.
the Baby Yoda toy doesn't have feet. It has hands, but no feet.
All right. We are live now. I'm going to share it to the group.
Okay, let's let it get shared, then we'll start.
Kai, where's your video?
1 second. I'm not on Skype. Okay. Okay, I believe it is shared to the group, so we are good to go.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. This is one of our May the 4th VirtualCon panels. This is a panel that's focused on incredibly awkward angles of Kai looking up his nose. No, actually, I'm sorry. No, it was about focus collecting. And what better way to do a panel about focus collecting than with two of the absolute weirdest focus collectors we have. So we got a list of questions we're going to ask these guys. We're going to kind of get their thoughts on, their collections and the way they approach their collections and all that. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to pose the questions to each of them, and then we're going to try to wrap this up within 30 minutes. Actually, we will wrap this up within 30 minutes, probably more like 25 minutes, because
we got a schedule to meet.
We got a schedule, yeah. We got Tyler. He will get onto us. So anyway, Kai, I'm going to start with you since you're on top of my screen here. So,
Awesome.
What is your focus, Kai? Can you shed some light on that to the group, since none of us know what you're into or who you collect?
Well, I collect a particular Togruta by the name of Ahsoka Tano. You may have heard of her. She's got a pretty popular TV show airing right now on Disney Plus.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, she's the orange one. In case that wasn't clear. Anyway, I collect a lot of things, but I would say that my focus for the last 3 years has been Ahsoka Tano. I first learned about her just like everybody else did with the premiere of the Clone Wars. And unlike everybody else, I was not annoyed by her from the start. I actually really appreciated her character. Maybe it was because I was younger, and so I was able to more identify with kind of navigating what it means to grow up and have responsibility and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, whenever I decided to focus on collecting Ahsoka, it was more just because I really liked her character, and I could see myself in her character a little. So,
all right. Well, from one end of the spectrum, a strong young Jedi, let's go to Kenny. Kenny, what do you collect? Can you shed some light on your strange obsession and possibly make this a warning to other people to stay away from you?
So currently, I kind of do 3 focus collections because I don't like myself and I don't like having money. So I collect Torredoza and Cara Dune, as well as my day one has been Tarkin. Tarkin is a little over 5 years strong now as a collection. It started on the Star Wars Card Trader app. I had been on that app since about the second week in. If anyone remembers way back when they released Duel of the Fates Wide Vision, that was my first day on the app. So about a week and a day. And everyone was hoarding on the app, so I went for Grand Moff Tarkin and Yoda at the time. I love Peter Cushing. Peter Cushing is my Sherlock Holmes. Hound of the Baskervilles is definitely one of my favorite movies, featuring, Darth Tyrannus, Chris Lee as well. And so once I started to bridge over to physical cards, once this group came up in live, I started collecting Tarkin right away. It didn't matter what it was. If you had extra base cards with them, extra inserts, I would open a box. I would get a lot of dupes in. I'd pull out all the Tarkins for myself, and I even still have a binder with a good amount of just base and insert Tarkins pulled out of extras that aren't in sets, in addition to all the sketches, all the autos, everything like that.
Okay. Kai,
so when you said one end of the spectrum, you have normal focus collector, me, and then extreme interesting focus collector, Kenny.
Well, one end of the spectrum, we have somebody who is drawn to the character as inspiration because he saw his young, vulnerable self in her. And then the other end of the spectrum, we have Kenny, who started focus collecting Tarkin because nobody else wanted to.
Hey, I love Peter Cushing too. And when I was on the app, there was competition. Rob Laguna is definitely still in this group, but there was another woman as well. We used to divvy up Tarkins. If there was a super rare one on the app, we would try and get extras and either trade for it or buy more packs to hook the other one up. So Tarkin used to be in higher demand than he is with the physical cards.
Well, so that's a great lead into another question. How do you guys as focus collectors work with other people who also PC the same characters, especially in regards to one-of-ones or unique sketches and stuff like that? Kai, why don't you go first?
So, like I said, when I started collecting Ahsoka, there definitely was not as much competition as there is these days. I think just about everybody knows who Ahsoka is, and arguably she's one of the better characters in Star Wars, if you ask me. And so,
I can agree. Top 5.
There's a few other Ahsoka focus collectors in the group, and I'm not made of money. I don't have infinite funds in my bank account to just spend willy-nilly. So I usually try whenever a new set comes out or there's older sets, I kind of try to limit myself and not go too crazy. And with that, I'm able to let some stuff slide. I know that Alex Ventress and myself have worked together on a few things. We've even traded Ahsoka Tano cards between ourselves. And I know that Michael in the group, he always thinks that I take everything before he has a chance to get it. But sometimes it's just the way it goes. Whenever you're collecting a pretty popular character, you have to, because she's going to be more prevalent than other characters, you just have to kind of set limits for yourself and be willing to share.
That makes sense. Kenny, how about you?
I am all in. My strategy really goes back to when I was younger and in Scouts, because there's a good group of us who collected patches. And we all collected relatively the same area between youth, between adult leaders. And when we would go to live auctions, it would turn into a spectacle because we were all bidding each other up. So I tell anyone, if you share a focus with me, if you're hearing this now, tell me when there's stuff you want. More or less, I don't pass anything up, especially when it comes to Tarkin, because nobody else is collecting him. If you tell me in advance what you want, I'm usually able to pass or able to negotiate a way that we can both go for it fairly. But on that same coin, I also ask, if there's, say, a Chris Penix Tarkin sketch coming up, and I already have one, and you tell me you want it, I'll respect your claim. I'll do my best to let you get it, but let me know your max, because if my max is higher and I see you get outbid, I'm going to jump in on those last 5 minutes. I'm still going to watch the auction because I want to make sure you got it. And sometimes that turns into, like it did with patches, someone tells me they're going to spend 50. It goes to 51. I shoot in 60 and just get it to them for $10 more to help them out. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not even sure who else collects some of the stuff at the time because I don't see many other Tarkin focuses that are public. If you tell me in advance and you let me know what you need and what you want, I have so much in my collection that I can easily make amends and even sometimes help you get those sketches at a better deal because people recognize my eBay name. They recognize what I collect, and I'll just be a middleman to try and cut you a better deal on it.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Kai, a second ago you mentioned something I think most of us can sympathize with, which is not having unlimited funds. So what ground rules do you set for yourself so you don't overextend yourself, or you don't go too crazy, and find yourself unable to have a house or other.
Yeah,
I know Ahsoka probably takes precedent over most things, but not everything. So what ground rules do you have for yourself?
Well, like I said, you don't want to end up living in a house built out of cardboard boxes. So
Tyler, are you listening?
For me personally, I have a set budget that I allocate for myself to spend, and I do save money as much as I can. I don't believe that. This is me personally. I don't believe that a lot of things should be bought on credit, so I do my best to save cash as much as possible. And if something comes up or if a set's coming up that I know I'm going to really want to chase something, then I just kind of, am intentional about setting aside money. Or if something comes up and I don't have enough money, then I'll look through my collection and see if there's something that I can let go of to get that instead. So.
All right, yeah, that's a good way of approaching it. Kenny, how about you?
I try and go a good bit with Kai's approach. Honestly, my ground rules are more abstract. I don't try and do duplicates of numbered parallels or numbered autos. So I'll pick up extra base autos to put aside if I can get them at a good price. But because of the premium and the jump in a premium when it's numbered autos or rarer autos, I don't go for duplicates. Same with numbered parallels. When it comes to sketches, with the exception of Cara Dune ones, just because they're a bit different of a market right now, especially when it comes to Tarkin, if I'm going to spend over $65 on a sketch, I take a step back and I see if I can get in touch with that artist first. Because if I'm going to pay that much for a sketch, I would rather pay for the AP and make sure the artist is getting that money. I do my best to save what I can. I've sold stuff off. When the Dan Bergen Stellar sketch came up, the original, I sold off a Mayhew, I sold off a Felicity. I sold off some of my PC stuff that I didn't want to move because I knew it was going to be a more extreme value. But unlike Ahsoka, I don't think I've had many instances where I've spent more than about $125, so I'm able to usually make it work within the next pay period or squirrel enough away from just side jobs around my house in town that I can pick up and make it in cash.
All right, that makes sense. Kai, actually I know the answer to this, but we're going to shed the answer to the rest of the group who may not know. Does your focus collecting go beyond cards?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just about anything that is Ahsoka related, I pick up. I've got the Lego figures. I've got the Disney Plus or Disney Infinity figure. I've got models and statues. Not like statues, but mini busts, I should say. I don't have a statue of Ahsoka in my house. My wife probably wouldn't go for that. And anyway, no, anything that I think is cool and unique and something that I don't have, I try to grab it. Again, as long as I'm within my guidelines and don't overdo anything, I do my best to acquire stuff.
All right, Kenny?
All day, all night. If there's a Tarkin, my goal is to try and get it. Outside of cards, I do go for autographs. I recently finished. I have all but one signer who has portrayed Tarkin in some way. So that's, Peter Cushing in the original film, Stephen Stanton in the cartoons, but also Paul Darrow, who voiced him in the NPR radio drama. Nick Jameson, who voiced him in the Rogue Squadron game in the 90s. As well as toys. Recently, in the past month, actually, I was even able to, and I've had to put stuff on credit or payment plans or beg parents, but from Daniel Logan's Toy Live sales, I picked up the Vintage Collection Tarkin. It's a European version. It's a figure that I've wanted for a while, but I just couldn't really justify the price point. It was at a better price point through Daniel Logan, and I have Boba Fett's Tarkin. Nothing's beating that.
That's pretty awesome.
And I was able to find a Peter Cushing autograph that is dedicated to some variation of my name. And so that's been something that I've passively been looking for about 2 years. If it's out there, I do my best to pick it up, just because I want to display it once I get a full man cave set up somewhere. And with toys and autographs, I'll actually play a little bit looser than I do with cards. I'm more willing to spend a bit more for a Hot Toys or a Sideshow figure when they come up, if I have the extra, than on more sketch cards.
Okay. We're getting down to about the last 5 minutes here. I had a couple more questions we might try to get in here. Kai, to somebody who's just starting out, who might be a fan of a certain character, what advice would you give them to keep them, and you might have already hit on this a little bit, but to keep them, and for lack of a better word, focused, but responsibly focused, so that they don't, they see every little thing having to do with the character, they collect everything, and then they find themselves, later on having to sell off their collection or something. What words of advice would you give to somebody who might just be starting out collecting a certain character or a focus?
It's real easy. Just set limits for yourself. Know what those limits are, and sometimes you're just going to have to let stuff go. Good example for this, whenever Topps released their 8x10 authentic set, they had cards that come with them as well. And I had gotten all of the parallels. So I don't know how familiar people are with rainbows outside of our card group, but basically they make different variations of a card with a different color rainbow or pattern to it. And so I had collected all the way up to the 1 of 1, and luckily the 1 of 1 ended up on eBay. I told myself, I want to spend this much money for it. And whenever the auction ended, it was like 3 a.m. in the morning. And so I just put my max in, and I went to bed and woke up the next day, and I lost by $1. So, I was sad, but it's just a material thing. I can live without it. And anyway, it ended up coming up for sale about a year later, and I have it in my collection now. So my best recommendation to you is set limits for yourself, live within your means. And if just because something is rare or hard to find does not mean that it will never come available again. So, don't feel like you have to eat ramen noodle for the rest of your life in order to get something. So, yeah.
All right. Good advice. Kenny, how about you?
Get the base cards and get the inserts. I mean, honestly, I've been looking through my collection, and I would say that as much as I love my Tarkins, as much as I have rare and unique stuff, what I really regret not doing more of the past probably about 2 years of going for the hits more often is picking up the base cards, picking up the inserts, and designing binder pages around them, framing the parallels around a base card. Just because I do love Tarkin that much that I enjoy getting all the base cards. There's no right or wrong way to do it, so talk to us. I mean, we've all got extras, we've all got tips. It's networking with your friends and networking with your other focus collectors. And I think what Kai said is very true. I had a scout advisor when I was collecting patches, and I love him to this day for the advice he gave me, but that's never going to be the only one. And it's true with 1 of 1s in Kai's case, and it's true with mine. The Journey to the Force Awakens Wayne Pigram 1 of 1 auto, when it originally came up in 2015, was almost $1,000 on eBay. I couldn't afford that. I was a senior in high school, and I didn't want to pay that. And over the years, it traded hands. I did my legwork. I kept up with who it was with in the group. I more or less knew where it was, removed 1 or 2 people. And last summer, I got it in my collection, and I mean, even after I posted it on Facebook, I cried a bit because that was a card I had worked 4.5 years to get a hold of. Stuff comes back around, stuff moves around.
Yep.
Unless it's in someone's focus PC, it'll usually move again.
Makes sense. Absolutely.
All right. Well, we're kind of getting down to to the time here. We have about probably just a few seconds here. We need to jump off so Tyler can set up the next one that's coming up here in a few minutes. I want to thank Kai Ellison and Kenny Riggio, one admin and one mod, but they both do a great job for us. And then I want to thank Tyler, who is off to the side of our screen, just eating. I have been laughing because I think it's like Twizzlers or something like this, like protruding out of his mouth. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, so I want to thank everybody who's worked so hard on this weekend. Tyler, who has emceed everything and has done a great job and made all of us look really bad. And Kenny and Kai for joining. And if y'all have any additional questions about focus collecting, I guess throw them into the chat or whatever here, and we'll deal with them. But Tyler, are you there to take us away or take us off?
Yeah, so I'm eating some beef sticks, and they're kind of like greasy, and I didn't want to get the grease on my fingers and have to go wash them again before I touch the keyboard.
I've been trying to stifle. I've been trying to stifle his laugh as he's like.
Yeah, I put one in my mouth and just let it like.
I'm sitting here like trying to keep a straight face. That was amazing.
It reminded me of Baby Yoda eating the frog.
Yeah, that's essentially what it was. So I'd stick that in my mouth. I just put my camera back on. That way I didn't have to like touch it. So I didn't. I wash my hands way too often. I'm kind of a germaphobe that way, so I didn't want to have to wash them again before I touched my keyboard. But anyways,
this is your time, Tyler. This is a time you've been living for. If you're a germaphobe, to wash your hands.
Exactly. I know. I've gone through so much soap. It's crazy. So, anyways, hey guys, it was great. I caught the back half of that. That was really really cool to hear. Your guys' perspectives on the focus collecting and some really great advice. It's so easy when you come in, and I see some people do it, and I was guilty of it myself. When I come in, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to collect. And then you just want to get everything. You see everything, you don't care what it costs, and you just want to get it. But there's a new set not right now, but there was a new set every couple weeks, every month, and there's always going to be new 1-on-1s, always going to be new numbered out of 5, and if you've got a popular character, it's going to come up again. So that's definitely some great advice. Certainly be patient. I think Kenny's patience is paid off. So. Anyways, up next, we'll kind of, while you guys are here too, we'll kind of just do a quick run through of what we got coming up for the rest of the day. Up next here in a few minutes is going to be Jonathan Beislein. Directly following him is going to be Alex Mines. After that, we're going to have a really cool workshop, which is coming up in 1 hour. We've got actually a lot of artists on this one, so I'm hoping that we can get everybody on the screen. We got 8 artists signed up, and if you guys don't remember from yesterday, we had about 5 artists on yesterday, and they all drew live, which was really fun. I don't know if you guys got a chance to catch that live or if you saw it later.
It was awesome.
I saw parts of it.
Yeah, it was really cool to watch them all do their thing, and it all turned out different. And the cool thing about that is they're all giving that stuff away to you guys. So make sure you tune in, stick around and come tune in live, because that's the only way you're going to be able to win is if you're live. Comment live, and I'll explain that many times during the workshop. But, very, very, very cool of those guys to give of their time and their talents to bring some really cool artwork to you guys. So that's coming up in about an hour, and then it's going to be artist after artist after artist. Taking us all the way until many of you guys are asleep. We do have one more collector coming up. Arnie is going to be coming up at 8 o'clock Eastern. Constant, flow of entertainment for the rest of the day.
Lots of fun stuff coming up. Can I point out one thing that has nothing to do with the convention? If you catch Tyler at the right angle with the chair, it looks like he has tails like a Twi'lek.
It kind of does.
Oh yeah, it does.
Awesome chair.
Yeah, it's.
I want that regal robot emperor throne so bad.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
Well, I'll sign off by saying that I just encourage everybody to go to the event page If you're watching this on our Facebook page and not in our actual group, find us by clicking the Join Now button, and come check out all this awesome stuff that we've got going on there. Tyler, did you have one more thing?
Yeah, I was gonna say I forgot to. I gotta remember to throw these out there again. For those of you who are in the group and join the event, make sure you join the event. Scroll all the way to the bottom because it's the oldest post. But we have these badges, and we've also got some buttons that Mike actually just ordered. The buttons. It's got the same logo on it and everything. You can pick these up. They're roughly going to be like $1 each. Probably nothing more than $1. This one is for the artistic people in the group, like myself. And then this one, we're giving one of these to all of the artists. You guys don't have to worry about that. We're hooking you guys up with those. The green one, it's also got some information on the back. So I'll show these off again during some of the other videos, probably during the workshop and stuff. Just kind of like a little commemorative piece, make it feel official, and just so that we can kind of remember this crazy time. And again, we're also going to have buttons again for sale, or you could hardly say they're for sale. Just pay the shipping on them, pay the $1 that they cost, and you'll be good. So check those out, and then anyways, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, those buttons probably should be in sometime early this week, so I'll probably start shipping these things this week. So
awesome.
We'll
Thanks
be
for doing
guest.
that, Mike.
Yeah,
So,
thanks for shipping all those, Mike. I know it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, no problem. They'll be going out pretty quickly. As soon as the buttons get here, I'll get on it. So
Awesome.
Cool.
All right,
Thanks,
guys. Well, I look forward to the rest of what we got going on.
Stay safe,
Sign
stay
off.
healthy.
yeah,
Absolutely.
lots of fun. Thanks, guys.